Listen, nobody likes to get played. It can be one of the worst feelings to ever experience to have someone play games with you, give you the runaround, use you and abuse you, only to end up in a dead end relationship that went nowhere and you feel like you wasted all this time with the wrong person. But I want you to know you are not doomed to this outcome. There are things you can do to avoid this happening. So today, I'm going to give you 5 huge tips to avoid getting played. Now, my name is Stefan Labossiere, aka Stefan Speaks, your life and relationship coach, here to provide you with dating and relationship advice that's going to help you experience better results and a higher quality of life. Now, before we get into today's topic of 5 tips to avoid getting played, be sure to like this video, share this video, hit that notification button so you can be alerted when I do another video or go live. But also, comment below if you have a tip you want to suggest to avoid getting played or just your feedback on this video. Now, moving on to the main topic at hand. You know, as a coach, I have sat down with thousands of people one-on-one, hearing all kinds of stories. And it's so unfortunate to hear people get put through the ringer and have to deal with these toxic situations, because what's horrible, or even more horrible about it, is that one toxic situation that you go through can turn into 3, 4, 5 more, a cycle of it, because now there's a level of brokenness and a need to heal that a lot of people don't engage in and simply jump into a new relationship only to wreak more havoc. So now you not only are the victim of it, but you actually end up being the person who's now hurting other individuals. But again, today is about you avoid it happening to you. So let's start with tip number 1 on how to avoid getting played. Address all red flags. Listen, I don't care if the flag is blue, purple, like if it looks kind of red, any flag, address it. One of the big mistakes people make in dating and relationships is this fear of speaking on the issues that they see, or this fear of digging into it, maybe because you're afraid of what you're going to find out. But one way or another, that's the setup to getting played. That's the setup to you ending up in disappointment in this situation or relationship, because you're seeing the issue, you're seeing this red flag, but you got to talk about it. You've got to see if this individual is actually going to correct the issue, or if it's a correctable issue, or if it's simply a clear sign you do not need to move forward with this individual. Now, let me make this very clear if you haven't caught on already. This is for men and women, all right? This ain't just what women go through. This is for men too. This is for everyone to avoid getting played. So both men and women, you have to address the red flags. Now, listen, here's a caveat to this. It doesn't mean attack somebody because you see a red flag. It doesn't mean speak negatively to them or project a negative outcome from that conversation. It means to have a very calm, loving, open conversation about any concerns that you have, any issues that you see. And you're doing it with the goal of gaining a better understanding and seeing if it can be corrected, or if it's a situation that needs to be corrected in the first place. Because sometimes a red flag is just a misunderstanding. So you're going in for that reason. You're taking that action, trying to achieve those results. And again, if at the end all you do is gain clarity that they're not for you, so be it. But you got to address it. So do not hold back. Always talk about everything, because that's how you're going to avoid creating a bigger mess. Tip number 2 to avoid getting played: be honest about your needs and desires. So again, in dating and even in relationships, hell, even in marriage, so many people do not openly and fully express their needs, desires, and hell, what their standards are in that relationship. And so now that becomes very easy, or it becomes very easy to get caught up in this ongoing, lackadaisical, mediocre relationship because you have not made it clear what you needed. Now, the fact that your needs are not being fulfilled in that situation is not an automatic sign of they're a horrible person, they're not for you, or they're playing you. Because some people want to love you but don't know how to. They don't know how you want to receive the love. They don't know what exactly you're looking for. Now, you may have the mentality of, well, they're a grown adult. They should know better. But you can't do that. We're all raised differently. We come from different experiences. And some people may not have the knowledge and wisdom already to know how to properly pour into you. You are a very unique, specific individual. They have to learn you. Now, yes, they should be proactive in that. But you should also be proactive in providing the information, because now you're going to be able to see a lot clearer if they're playing games or if they're serious. Because I always say one of the clearest ways to see if someone's serious about you is to let them know how you feel and see how they handle that. All right? Because someone who's not serious about you will deflect, make excuses, dismiss you, devalue your needs and desires. But the person who actually cares about you, who's actually trying to have a real relationship with you, is going to look for ways to address those things, look for ways to correct them, to pour into you in the ways that you're asking for. You know, of course, some things might be a little foreign to some individuals, so it may be hard for them to grasp, but there's still a more active desire to want to make you happy. And so it's hard to see that when you're not letting them know what you need. You can't let them freestyle the relationship. You won't expose a liar with lies. And I say with lies because if you're holding back and you're not being honest, then in essence you are lying. So you cannot drive out their deception. You cannot expose where they truly stand. You have to bring truth to the situation. You have to bring honesty and openness, which then forces them to have to step up to the plate or get the hell on. It's plain and simple. So do not hold back. Be honest and open about your needs, desires, and the standards that you want to set in a relationship. Tip number 3, never be afraid to ask questions. So this kind of goes hand in hand with addressing the red flags, but it goes deeper than that. Because every question we want to ask isn't about a red flag. It may be curiosity as to where do we stand? Where's this relationship going? What are your true intentions? A lot of people get caught up and get played because they don't hold that person accountable to answering the questions and providing clarity to let you know where do you stand in this relationship? What are the intentions in this relationship? And again, any other questions that you have. Do you want kids one day? Hell, I've seen people go through dating afraid to ask the kid question when it's very important to them, only to end up 6 months later, finally it comes out and you find out they don't want any kids. And now you feel stuck. You don't know what to do. Now, in that scenario, it wasn't them playing you, but you still feel like your time got wasted. And now you're caught up in an unhealthy attachment that can become much more difficult to walk away from. I've literally seen situations where a woman who really, I want to use the word desperately wanted a child because she was over the age of 40, got caught up in a situation with a man who did not, and it ended up dragging on for like 2-3 years, which only hindered her ability to have the child she wanted. So it's very dangerous to not speak on our feelings, to not ask questions. And again, as I mentioned in tip number 2, you don't drive out lies with more lies. You have to bring truth. You have to be willing to ask and talk about all the things that are concerning you or are on your mind. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're concerned with, well, I don't want to scare them away, I don't want to overwhelm them, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So it's not the question that you're asking that's the problem, it's how you're asking it. If you're coming to the table in a very loving, open, calm, positive manner, then there's no reason that someone who's serious about you is going to take issue with that. If they take issue with you taking that proper approach, that is exposing the fact that they're not serious or they're not ready and mature enough to have a healthy relationship with you. Either way, they need to go. Tip number 4, huge tip number 4 to avoid getting played. Set a deadline. Now, this one might be a little unpopular for some people. You might be raising your eyebrows. Like, what do you mean set a deadline? Listen. We got to stop playing games. If we're trying to avoid getting played, then let's not play games ourselves. The reality is that Too many people go willy-nilly into these situations with no deadline or no vision of, okay, where do we now set the marker of, are we now taking a further step in this relationship, or are we deciding this isn't going to work? How are we deciding that when is enough enough? All right? You can't just let it drag on. Again, I have seen people get dragged on for 2 months, not 2 months, 2 months is short. 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And it was just a horrible relationship that didn't actually go anywhere. They just got dragged along the whole time because, again, there was never a deadline. There was never a set standard to listen. If we've been in a romantic relationship for, and this is just an example, let's say 2 years, and you still don't know if you want to marry me, or we don't know if we want to move forward with each other, then at that point we need to make a decision. Now, some of you may say, well, 2 years is too soon. Well, listen, you can set the deadline you're comfortable with. But let me make something very clear. It doesn't take that long to figure out who you want to share your life with. All right? Outside of special situations where, let's say, two people are very young and they still haven't established themselves, that might be an exception to the rule. But if we're talking two grown adults, all right, two individuals who lived a little bit of life here, the reality is that you don't need forever to figure this out. In most situations, when it takes that long, it's because you haven't fallen in love with them. You're just learning to tolerate them. You become attached to them. You are holding on because of the investment you made in the relationship. And yes, this can happen to both men and women. But people who have experienced a connection with each other, they didn't need 2-3 years to determine this is who I want to marry. So again, why do you need to have that much time or give them that much time? Let me give you another perspective to consider. If you went to work at an internship for 6 months, they didn't pay you, and after 6 months, it was supposed to be a decision to now hire you or let you go. They say to you, well, listen, we love you as an employee. We think you are awesome. We want you to keep working for us, but we're not prepared to hire you yet. Let's just keep this going and see where this goes. All right? The majority of you, if not all of you, are not going to continue to work at that internship. You're going to say, oh, hell no. I already showed you the employee I am. You know what I bring to the table. You either want to hire me or you don't. Guess what? It's the same thing in relationships. I've shown you who I am. I've brought my best to the table. I've been open and honest. At this point, you either want this or you don't. And if you don't, cool, we go our separate ways. Or maybe it's a situation where even if you want to say you're simply not ready, why do I or you have to remain in the relationship, giving them the benefits of you and the benefits of being with you when they cannot decide on their intentions with you? That doesn't make any sense. And you're not incentivizing them to make a decision. You're actually helping them drag things along. So I don't want to drag out this point, but the bottom line is, yes, set a deadline. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you saying to yourself, listen, I'm giving this relationship X amount of years, and if we cannot decide to move forward, we move on. And we keep it simple. And that's how we avoid getting played. And now last but not least, tip number 5 on how to avoid getting played. Well, real quick, let me do a quick plug, all right? Get my book, Love After Heartbreak. I put a link in the description, the link in the comments section. It will tell you the steps to heal, all right, and to really experience peace, happiness, and joy in your life. It's extremely important that we go through the healing process. And so this book will lay it out for you. It is for men and for women. People are already having their lives transformed by it. You can see the reviews on Amazon for yourself. This is a legitimate book that is going to help you. So again, Love After Heartbreak. Click the link in the description or in the comment section. Now, tip number 5 is actually you need to heal. So I plugged the book in before just to lead into this, but healing is a huge piece of the puzzle if you want to avoid getting played. And the reason is because when you have not healed, you're essentially trying to see this world through broken glasses. All right? You can't see straight. You can't see clearly. And hell, you may not even be able to think clearly because you're holding on to so much hurt and trauma. This will almost inevitably lead you into the wrong relationships. It will cause you to entertain individuals that don't belong in your life. It will also add to you developing more unhealthy attachments and continuing the toxic cycle that you've already previously experienced. So it is important to heal, because when you heal, you see through the BS quicker. You're able to love yourself enough to not entertain someone who does not belong in your life. You're able to conquer the fear of being alone, conquer the fear of my time or my clock is running. Whatever fears you have, all right, you'll be able to overcome that because you will have a healed, whole heart that will strengthen you to make sure you make better decisions and you end up in the right relationship. So if you want to avoid getting played, you need to heal. And again, get your copy of Love After Heartbreak. So once again, I want you to comment below. Tell me if there's any other tip you want to add on how to avoid getting played, or just your feedback on this video. I hope and pray this was helpful to you. Please like this video, because that's going to help other people see this that need to hear this message. Share this video, all right? And of course, subscribe to the channel. But again, I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.